Welcome to the channel Adam's Adventures, and in today's video I will be exploring this unhaunted gaol court in the island of Anglesey, North Wales, which has so much history that even I'm surprised what lies beneath the building. Enjoy the video. The design of the jail was by Hanson and Welsh and built in 1829. It was then expanded in 1867 to accommodate at least 30 prisoners, but was soon closed 11 years after before it made a huge impact of the area. Soon after, the building became a police station until the 1950s, and during those times it served a purpose when the Second World War broke and became an old air raid siren station. It still was operational during the Cold War era, as well in case of nuclear strikes, which thankfully didn't happen at the time. After the 1950s, it then went into a phase of being a children's clinic until 1974, when it officially became a museum and opened to the public since then. Both male and female prisoners had separated wings, so no distractions were occurred. Women prisoners that was due for a birth of their child would have been sent to a maternity ward, of which in some cases ended up with damned events of their child not surviving in these harsh conditions. The chapel here is not the original that's attached to the building, and the pews and pulpit was sourced elsewhere on the island to create this chapel to be in place. The number of pews that are out of sequence and are not fixed to the floor that is in place. prison regime was one of the most vicious and harshest types of all time existed, and in this day and age it was seen as humane improvement for earlier goals of the system. Although the methods were kept in order, such as keeping the criminals in chains, whipping, and making the prisoners kept in a dark room with no light at all for their sanity. There were executions in Beaumaris Gaol, which two of the accounted for are two hangings occurred. The first one was dated back 1830, of which William Griffith tried an attempted murder for his first wife. On the morning of the execution, he barred himself in the cell, but lately dragged across half the floor and carried to the gallows. The other one was of Richard Rowlands in 1862 for murdering his father-in-law. He protested his innocence. Leading up to the final moment, he cursed the church clock tower from the gallows and made sure that the time was never the same. Very bizarre if you ask me, that who knew clock time is shown differently. Both men are buried inside the walls, but their graves are unknown whereabouts. There have been only one escapee from this prison, and it was John Morris, in which of 7th January 1859 used a lot of rope stolen while working and ended up thrown over the walls, in which he broke his leg but managed a fair distance outside the town until he's recaptured. This is one of the last ever working penal treadmill left in the UK, which sure made these prisoners work extremely hard for their punishments, in which sometimes they had to work together, for example by collecting water from the streams and pumping it up to the prison. Thank you for watching this video on the Gaol, and certainly had an onlook of how this building was managed back in the Victorian days. Please subscribe, comment and like the video, and stay tuned for more adventures in the near future.